Breaking news, ladies and gentlemen. What's going on? It's Kyle Henderson along with Andrew Bone of BamaInsider.com. Bryce Young has flipped officially from USC to Alabama. Here with Andrew Bone, our recruiting analyst, to break it down. Bone, how big is this for the Crimson Tide?
Huge commitment today from Bryce Young to Alabama. Yeah, we found out probably a little bit earlier this week that he was going to come in for an official visit, but kind of had to keep it under wraps until then. Until he arrived on campus. And, I talked to his dad a few months ago, and his dad told me, he said, whenever we set that official visit to Alabama, that should be a very strong indication that that's where we're going. That's where we're going to flip to Alabama if we set up an official visit with them. When they set the official visit up, I knew that was going to happen. So, big commitment for him, for Alabama today and getting Bryce Young. And I think the biggest thing about his commitment is, Alabama's still recruiting some other offensive players. They're still recruiting Zach Evans, which, right now I don't think he's going to end up at Alabama, but, you can still recruit him. They're still looking for another wide receiver. They're still trying to sign a big-time tight end like Eric Gilbert or Darnell Washington. So getting Bryce Young on board, and these guys knowing who he is, knowing that he's the top dual-threat quarterback in the country, having an unbelievable senior season. I think that, it's going to really bring a lot of excitement to the class. It's going to really help the class. And I think that, some of these guys are, still looking at Alabama, that have Alabama in their top 5, top 3, really going to look a little bit more at Alabama now that Bryce Young is committed.
Big pickup for the Alabama Crimson Tide as Bryce Young flips from USC to Alabama, number 1 dual-threat quarterback in the entire nation from the class of 2020. I'm on the line with Andrew Bone right now. This is breaking news, big-time pickup from California. Bone, when we look at the recruiting scale and who recruited Bryce Young, can you talk about the coaches who recruited him? And, obviously Steve Sarkisian, with his West Coast ties, has to be a big instrumental coach when landing Bryce Young.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. This is the first big recruiting win for Coach Sark, getting Bryce Young on board. And that's been kind of the biggest thing with him is with Bryce Young from the get-go. It's his relationship with Coach Sark throughout the process. And, I think Alabama did a really good job recruiting him, not really putting a lot of pressure on him. The fact that they didn't take any or offer any other quarterbacks during the summer. We saw a lot of quarterbacks come through, work out. They didn't offer any. They waited. They were patient, and they get a big commitment today. Now, we were kind of thinking maybe it would happen a little bit further down the road into the season. Now, we definitely thought that it was going to happen, but we thought maybe, November, December. But it happens now, which is a good time. And like I said earlier, good time for Alabama because of these other guys that they're recruiting.
When we look at Bryce Young, we got a chance to see him this summer at the Rivals 5-Star Challenge. I mean, he looks like he has all the tools. Can you talk about him from a prospect perspective, Andrew?
Hey, he's he's kind of one of those field generals. I mean, he gets it done with his arm and his legs. He's not going to come out there and just blow you away with his size. He's probably a little bit under 6 feet tall, but he's very athletic. I mean, he can run. We saw the last 2 weeks. 2 weeks ago, he threw for over 500 yards. Then last week, we saw him have over 100 yards rushing on the ground and 4 rushing touchdowns against one of the top high school programs in the country, St. Francis out of Maryland. So he's going to bring some swagger to the offense. And I definitely think that Alabama's got a tremendous talent coming in for next year's class. And another big thing about Bryce Young is he is an early enrollee, so he'll be getting to Tuscaloosa in January.
Big pickup for the Crimson Tide today. Alabama lands Bryce Young, former USC commit. You can read about it more in detail on BamaInsider.com. Catch what it means from Andrew Bone later tonight on BamaInsider.com. Kyle Henderson, Andrew Bone. Catch you guys soon. Big pickup for the Crimson Tide from the class 2020.